What is going on, y'all? We got another episode of Around the Flywheel. I am happy to announce myself as the new host. We had to get rid of the last guy. Numbers were down. We're changing the vibe here, okay? Listen, we are the new Tom Brady. We are getting rid of Jameis Winston. We are bringing a ship back to Central Florida. So that's what we're going to start off today. I can't wait to. I got my co-host with me. We got Jared. We got Austin. And we're going to be talking a lot about CRMs today. But I wanted to open up to the show. Jay, how you feeling? Get us a little bit of a flow. Let us know how we're going today, baby.
I'm doing good, baby. I'm the client success manager, customer success manager here at Dippidi, and I'm ready to, put y'all up on some game.
Let's
ride. I'm ready to argue with Austin.
Dude, what has happened? Like this new host energy, like he was totally nonchalant, hits the record button, and just goes absolutely bananas.
Listen, man, I've already got people hitting my DMs already. ESPN, I got Nickelodeon. We're just trying to find sponsors, all right? So this is what we're going to do. Austin, tell them who you are, baby, what we're here to talk about today, and we're going to kick it off hardcore here in a second.
I like it. I think we should change the view here, though. I'm not a big fan of this view. But I am Austin. Oh, you want to go with just you? I like that. There we go. That one's not bad. And then you got another one, too. I like this one, though. So I'm Austin. This is my, fourth episode. So today we're talking on what, Corey? CRMs?
Yes, sir. We're going to be talking about why you need a CRM to run an effective and an efficient real estate business. But before we get started, let's kick it off with the trivia question of the day. And we're going to run it with, do you know how many times does a salesperson need to follow up on average to turn a prospect into a customer? Jay, I'm going to let it start with you. It seems like that was a kind of recurring theme in the back in the day. So let's ride with it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with, being the customer service experience side of it, I don't have to deal with this too much. But I'm going to say, let's go with 4.
4. I love it. Austin, what you got for us, brother?
I'm going with 14. I think that you're going to need to have a lot of follow-up going on with the leads you generate, whether they're a cold lead coming in or it's, an appointment you set. I still think you need to have multiple touch points with the lead to become a prospect to ultimately become a customer. So I'm going to go with 14.
Heck yeah. Love that.
Can I change my answer?
Jay, what's your second answer if you have one? It's March Madness. We're playing the odds. What do you got? What's your second answer?
Let's just up it a couple. Let's just go 6, just so I can be a little closer than that. I feel like Austin has a better idea of that, so I feel like I'm way off.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to cover exactly what that number is at the end of the show. But let's hop right into it, guys. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about why CRMs are powerful. Our customers and agents and brokerages and small businesses across the country still utilizing them. I know we've got people and friends in the industries that sometimes still use that old-fashioned approach of writing it down on a pen pad. And a lot of the times I get anxiety for them. So I'm kind of excited to maybe have and talk to the world today a little bit about why they can be effective and why we think that they're very much a massive tool that should be utilized in 2023. So let's get in that first question as we get into what are some challenges of using a CRM system. And I'll let one of you guys tackle it first. But what are some of the challenges you guys see using a CRM?
Yeah, kick it off, Jay.
Yeah, I got you. I talk to a lot of brokerage owners and team leaders and stuff all over the country in my role here at Dippidi and stuff. So I think one of the most consistent things I hear is getting their team to adopt the CRM and actually use it. You invest a lot of time, money, energy. You're creating action plans and drip campaigns, and putting how much each deal is worth, so your customer value. And then oftentimes, if your team's not following, updating everything in the system and tracking the calls and the texts and stuff like that, and buying in, a lot of that goes to waste if they're just on their own program. So to me, the biggest challenge is getting them to buy into the system and actually utilize the CRM. So they say if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Well, the best way is to keep everything in that system, and have your team actually buying into that, so you actually know the numbers and know where your prospects are and clients and all that. So I would say getting the team to buy in.
Yep. Yeah. I could definitely see that being a huge issue as well. Also, a lot of times, like you could, to incentivize them, if you are having agents that are struggling with adopting it, you can make it, they call it gamification, making it more of like a game. There's different leaderboards and things you can do depending on your CRM or depending on third parties you work with, like Sisu. Sisu is a great way that you can plug that into your CRM and almost make a game and an accountability with what's going on within the CRM. So that way you can, almost create a monthly incentive of whomever is, leading the leaderboard in the CRM. You can, offer them a gift card or, take them out to their own unique lunch or whatever it may be. But yeah, having agent adoption is definitely one big challenge. But I think really what makes it tough for the agent adoption is actually the owner adoption, because at the end of the day, they need to be trained and learn on this CRM. And so they're either looking towards you as the broker owner team leader, as a mentor on how to navigate and use this, or you're going to need to hire a third party to consult them on the CRM. So they're actively getting trained up on it, so they know the best way to do the best practices within it. So ultimately, I think some of the biggest challenges are getting whomever to adopt the CRM, because just like you said, Corey, there are people we know still today that are using pen and paper when really the power of the CRM is insane when you use it correctly. So I think adoption is just ultimately the number one challenge overall.
Yeah, I would even venture to say that people who are actually using their CRM pretty well, probably still aren't even using it, maybe 50% of its full potential.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
think
a
that's
lot you can
something
do.
that, where do you guys feel like is something agents or even small business owners can look to find one that actually talks to them? Like, because I know a lot of the times they may look a little too robust, a little tough to grasp. There's so many shiny object bells, whistles, that I know it's probably more daunting. It's scary. I don't know where to click to do this task. Is there anything that you guys would say that, as somebody that's kind of leaping into a new CRM or maybe is unfamiliar with one, some of the things that they should look at to kind of help them adopt it a little easier? What are some things that y'all feel would actually get them to really adopt it and really love the process?
Yeah, I think ultimately for me, it's understanding that you're using your CRM for ways to organize your relationships, not just with leads, but with customers, past customers, affiliates, vendors. There's different people that you can put into this CRM. So you're going to want to categorize those people correctly so you know who you're speaking to. Because a lot of times in these CRMs, you can have email marketing that can go out from it, or different messaging or text messages you can send out in the CRM as well. Well, the last thing you want to do is send a mass, text message to the wrong people. So I think ultimately it's bringing in your contacts in there first, and then making sure you're putting them in the right buckets. So if these were people that you acquired, Zillow leads, and you haven't really had conversation with these leads, they're kind of older existing leads that you've already had, you're going to want to put them in the proper stage. Whereas if you import your cell phone contacts, these are all probably people part of your SOI or your sphere of influence, and you're going to want to make sure you stage them properly, so that way you're not sending the wrong messages or having the wrong people reach out about your services. So it's a great way to segment your customer relationships into different buckets. Is just step one of what you can do with it. But I think that's going to be the first thing you're going to want to do when you get into CRM.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point to kind of segue into here. Is one question that we also have is like, what are some common integrations that CRMs have? So, Austin, you just talked about tagging, and that's sometimes like some of the first initial things you learn as you onboard with any of these CRM systems. But I think the thing in the sand that kind of cuts out a lot of CRMs and what works for agents is really about what is the integrations on the backside. Because a lot of the times when we consult with agents and with our clients, a lot of the times we want, especially early on, we wanted to recognize, hey, if you're doing all these marketing efforts, you're just kind of throwing money away because it's not feeding properly into your CRM. So then you can have those action plans in play. So what can you guys just talk to, like, what is an integration for those that don't know at home, and why is it powerful to have in a CRM?
Yeah, so an integration. Let's say that you got a CRM. I'm going to use Follow Up Boss as an example. That's a CRM that we work in quite a bit. We have clients that work on endless CRMs, from Boomtown, Chime, Sierra Interactive, Sync, KV Core, but Follow Up Boss is one we use a lot. And in Follow Up Boss, when you get this product and you log in, you get all of these different capabilities within the platform, but it doesn't necessarily have everything you need. And so instead of Follow Up Boss developing their own internal feature in the CRM, they kind of open up their API to be integrated with, so that way third-party companies that have the solutions you may be looking for in your CRM are able to basically connect that within the CRM so you can use that product or service. So for instance, in Follow Up Boss, you may be able to integrate Structurally. Structurally is an AI, conversational AI that is a sales assistant to your leads. So in the event you generate a new lead and you integrate Structurally into your Follow Up Boss account, you can then have that lead be followed up with and responded to from an AI that is built on the Chat or the GPT-2 model. Just to throw that out there. And it's going to follow up with that lead via text and email. That's a feature Follow Up Boss didn't have in the CRM, but because they opened up their API to allow integrations, Structurally is now able to service and help and stack on as an addition to the CRM. So some common ones are your IDX provider and making sure that you're able to get, an IDX that when you generate a lead from your IDX, which an IDX is basically like a home search tool, kind of like what Zillow has, but you can put it on your own website. And if somebody were to become a lead and register through your IDX, you want to make sure you integrate that with Follow Up Boss. So somebody signs up on the IDX, it's now talking to Follow Up Boss and pours that lead information into the system. IDX is a big one. You can have different third-party outreach tools like Structurally, CallRail's another one. There's many different integrations you can have from like a lead nurturing and enrichment to be able to kind of take that lead data and get more information out of it. There's just so many different integrations out there from a lead conversion standpoint to a lead generation standpoint to a lead enrichment standpoint that are very common that go into CRMs.
Yeah, I agree. And would you say anything just to add on to that? Is it better to have a direct integration, or do you feel like Zapier can accomplish that exact same feat?
So that's a super great question, because you have two different integrations. You have direct integrations, so the said CRM integrates with this third-party company to provide that service or product. But in the event they don't have a direct integration with that CRM, there's options out there, and it's not always available, but you can look at products like Zapier, and Zapier is a third-party, basically bridge that connects and allows you to integrate and create integrations. So, for example, if there's a company that doesn't have that integration, you can go into Zapier and you can create the trigger. So let's say, hey, when I get a form submission on my website that didn't have a direct integration with my CRM, form submission, create new lead in Follow Up Boss or in CRM. And so that's something you can do through Zapier. And it's absolutely a great route to take in the event that your CRM doesn't have a direct integration with the product or service you're looking for.
I love that. Now, Jay, I wanted to ask you on this one because I feel like you get this quite a bit, being the client success manager, talking to clients every day, speaking on some of the best practices in the industry. A CRM, like we've been talking about all morning here, is a lot of the times people are focused on the lead gen and actually capturing the lead. But it's really the process and the recipe of actually having things to hit some form of success is by using the back end tagging and having some conversation. So is there anything that you recommend or that you see that your clients have some success with when it comes to using their CRM properly once a lead is actually generated and poured into the system?
Yeah, I think to start would be make sure like the tracking's all set up properly. So keeping it kind of on the integrations, you can integrate with Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and these tracking platforms so you know where the lead's coming from. And then when the lead gets into the CRM, actually being able to identify, we work a lot in the real estate space. So like if somebody came in from a certain location, you can tag them with that city. and then, put them on action plans and drip campaigns, or even if you can, speed the lead, get them on the phone and speak to them, you have better idea of like their activity on your website to kind of give your sales team more ammo to follow up with them and just speak better to how they're interacting on your website, and just provide a better experience for the prospect or even the current client. So
Yeah. Another best practice I think is also the CRM usually offers a dialer depending on the CRM you pick. Use that dialer. Don't use your phone outside the CRM, because it's not tracking when you do a phone call. It's not tracking when you log a call. And that can actually hurt you long term as you're assessing the metrics and wanting to know, okay, hey, Facebook leads specifically. We generated 1,000 Facebook leads this year, and how many times did we call each of these leads? And how many times, and how did they close? Like, how did this perform? If you're calling outside of the dialer and not logging and tracking those phone calls through the CRM, you're really doing a disservice to yourself and your company, because you're basically hiding the data that helps you make better business decisions. So best practice, to me, my number one is going to be any phone calls you make that have to do with business phone calls, you should be doing them in the CRM and through the CRM, so that way you can have that tracked and logged.
And just to add to that, Austin, if you are working on a tighter budget, or maybe you can't afford to have everybody have a unique number.
Oh, I can't see you, Jay. We have a terrible host right here.
I like it better without my face on the screen. So like if maybe you are working with like a limited budget, and maybe you can't afford to have everybody have a phone number, it's very important that you preach to your agents that if they are going to make a phone call outside of the system due to budget, if you have the budget, of course, number one, everything should be inside the CRM. Train them up and hold them accountable, and make sure that they are logging those calls in the CRM, because you can actually manually add a phone call, a text message, and put that into the system. So just for the people that may be working with a smaller budget.
Similar to what we're working on, Austin's comment about the host being bad. I'm trying to work on a production guy, so we'll get that coming in Q4. But I kind of wanted to talk a little bit further on the point that Austin was saying about hiding the data. I think that's something great that we did this past year that you and Hunter worked on, was calculating all of the calls that we've done, all the cold calls, all the prospecting, all the text messages, and looking at it from a hybrid, a bird's eye view of all the calls that were done. And then we can make assumptions based upon, hey, we need to be calling this much more this coming year, so we can better account for business growth, see where we dropped the ball. And it's just an opportunity to grow as a unit. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do year in and year out, so we're not wasting any time. So I'm excited to see what that looks like next year. As we hop into the next question here, how can a CRM system help businesses improve customer loyalty?
This is a good one. I think notes. So in your CRM, you can usually and typically log notes depending on the platform, but I would say 98% of them notes has to be like step one, right, of what you get in a CRM. So like I said in the beginning, if you bucket it out and you have stages, you could have your current customers as those stages. So all your current customers, here's a list of them. Let's say you got 200 of them, 200 current customers or past customers, clients, whatever it may be terminology wise. But here's your list. You could be clicking into each of those, and as you have conversations with them, be taking notes. Like, learn that you have a customer whose son Camden plays baseball, and they've been doing really, really good at baseball. So now next time that you have a conversation with that client, you can bring up to them and care about what they're actually going through in their life. It just actually allows you to be a better person because you know what's going on, and it allows you to have those conversations. Hey man, how's Camden doing? Is baseball still going well for him? You may have not remembered that had you not leave a note, especially if you hadn't talked to that customer in a few different months. So the ability to leave notes absolutely, enhances the ability to amplify your customer experience and customer loyalty, because you're actually able to give them a personalized human-to-human touch. It's just that, we're all going through so much day in and day out. Sometimes you have to remember, and the CRM allows you to do that. So I think notes is a great way to do it to enhance that customer loyalty.
That's exactly where I was going with it too. As a customer success guy, like that's basically what I live by. If I'm talking to somebody, and, maybe their kid's not feeling too well, they're sick, staying home from school, little notes I'm going to take. So next time I get on a call with them, I can, how's your kid doing? How is he feeling better? Or how about them Cubs? Just little interactions that do make a difference. And at the end of the day, it is a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. So it's all about relationship and building that. And those little details go a long way and just provide a better overall customer experience and journey and all that. So I agree, Austin.
Excellent, baby. And then I think the final question here that I think is what everybody wants to know about is exactly how can the CRM help their business improve from a marketing perspective? What are some of the things that it allows them to do that if they didn't have a CRM to be more effective in their marketing, which can help them grow their revenue, which we're all here trying to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So to me, it kind of goes back to what you were saying, like the project we ran last year, right? We wanted to log our big thing going into 2022 last year was we wanted to track better analytics in our CRM so we can make better business decisions. Well, you can't do that month 3 of 2022. You got to do that and assess it at the end of the year, right? So we started the year, and I think we did a damn good job of tracking a lot of our analytics, whether that was, where did this lead come from? What was the source of the lead? Of these leads, how many were qualified to work with us? How many engaged? Sometimes we generate leads that they don't answer the phone, right? So how many were engaged? How many, were actually qualified? How many people turned into customers? How many people did we just send a contract out to, but then we ended up losing that contract because they didn't follow up? Well, we're able to see all of that when we reassessed at the end of the year. And because we're logging all of our phone calls, to emails, and text into this CRM, we're able to see what percentage of leads from a specific lead source responded to a text message, responded to an email, opened an email. How much talk time did we have with Facebook leads or Google leads? We weren't able to do that without it. So how can it help improve your systems and your marketing efforts? You can see all that data. You can see everything. You can see how much ROI did we get from our Facebook ads or from our Google ads this year, as long as you're tracking all the way through. That's the important part. You have to be tracking all the way through so you can find out what part is it actually faulty and needs accountability. It could be your agents aren't making phone calls to the leads that you're investing in, and they're not logging the calls, so you don't even know. It could be that they're making the calls and then you find out that and indeed the lead source isn't doing well because you've logged in, everybody's done 100 to 1,000 calls. You see the lead source it came in from, how much business it generated, and then you can look at the conversion rate right there in the CRM and see every time we generate 100 Google leads, 10% of them or 5% of them turn into business. Here's how much money we made from that business. Here's how much we spent from these campaigns. Here's our ultimate ROI. So there are endless ways that you can use your CRM to amplify your marketing efforts, but it all starts with adopting it and putting in metrics and KPIs in place so that way you can track it and review those metrics to make better business decisions.
Yeah. And go ahead, Jay. I was just going to bring up a quick point on kind of like, not only does everything that Austin said play into it, but a huge differentiator is the fact of a CSV list. And I know you're probably going to cover that. That's something that I wanted to take a look at is, how does a CSV file play into some of the marketing efforts that some of the clients can take advantage of?
Yeah, it allows you to, the CSV lists allow you to kind of segment your audiences, going back to kind of what Austin was saying. If you have different verticals or different avenues, you can segment them by marketing source, by their tags, depending on which campaigns they came in off of. And you can run remarketing on Facebook. You can do remarketing on Google Display. There's a ton of remarketing that you can do by being able to segment that your prospects or your leads inside the CRM based on their tags. But again, to Austin's point, it all starts with making sure you're accurate, making your phone calls and tracking everything inside of the CRM and segmenting it properly to be able to analyze that, come up with your customer list, export them, and use them in a remarketing campaign, whether it be Facebook, Google, or whatever. I don't know if Austin wants to add anything to that, but
no, you nailed it.
Awesome. Now let's remember back to our trivia as we get into that. Back to the question. You guys remember your answers?
I
I
said
think Austin's
14.
was like
Jared said
70,000 and Jared's was
4
3.
or 6. Yeah, 4
Let's go
or
with
6 or
6.
something.
Let's go with 6.
All right. The answers are in. As we tally the votes, we got, according to the IRC Sales Solutions, 44% of sales reps give up on their prospects after the initial conversation. But it can take the average sales rep up to 10 tries to see a prospect become a buyer. That's absolutely incredible. Almost one out of every 2 sales reps are giving up on an actual lead right after the initial conversation. But it's saying that it takes them about 10 times before they'll actually will become indeed a customer.
Yeah.
It goes to
that's
show
insane.
that the CRM can help you get to that next step. I know a lot of the times people and agents and business owners, they feel like they have so much on their plate, but that's why the CRM can help it take to the next level. You have the ability to have action plans. As we get into the AI side of the future, it's allowing you to have more of a robust and comprehensive conversation that is a little bit better than your traditional action plans. Let them warm up, nurture the prospect. So that way, when your 6th touch point, when it's really the sales rep's second, it's in actuality, it feels like the 6th, 7th, or maybe 8th because the AI has been doing the heavy lifting. Now that conversation, now you're only 2 touch points away from maybe making that buyer decision or having that customer convert. So a CRM allows you to kind of take the nitty gritty, the hard work. We only have a certain amount of hours in a day, and we're also focused on so many things. Let the CRM take off a lot of that heavy lifting and let it come through, baby. But any last points before we get out of here? This is the episode 4 of Around the Flywheel. We got to cut to commercial break here soon. So any last remarks as we head
I got one. If you are an agent watching this, a team leader, if you're an owner of a brokerage, let us be the messengers. Let us be the bad guys. Send this to your agents to motivate them to adopt the system and track their calls and take notes and leave everything inside that CRM. I know it's a pain. You probably tell them, you feel like it goes in one ear out the other and you're constantly hounding them. Let us be the messenger for you. Let us be the bad guys. Take this episode, send it to them. It's a quick watch. What is it, 30 minutes? And hopefully it'll help show the value of using the CRM and help them understand why it's important for the better over, not only for them, but the business overall. So that's all I got.
I love it. Well, we're going to have to cut over.
Can you get me off of there? Can you get me off of there?
We're going to cut over to commercial break, guys. That concludes episode 4. We've enjoyed our time. We're looking forward to see you here in the next couple of days and /weeks with a new topic. If you have a topic that you really want to know about, send us a message in the DMs, or you can reach out to Austin at his AOL AIM account. However you feel fit. We are ready to go. We're excited for you guys. And let's hit Q2 running, baby. Let's ride.
Let's
Broncos
do. Oh
country.
gosh, no, Broncos country. All right, we're out of here.
See ya.